back to the Macabre Maiden Metalcast, your spooky sanctuary for heavy riffs and female-led fury. Today, we are joined by two sisters who've been lighting up the punk scene since they were kids, Lucy and Gwendolyn Giles. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Okay, good. Of Dog Party. I practiced that all night. So we've got a little bit of garage rock, punk energy, and mostly some serious sister vibes. So let's tear into it. Going back to the beginning here, how did Dog Party come to life? And, was it like a shared dream or was it like a little sibling chaos? I don't know. I'm an only child, so you tell me how that worked out.
Well, when I was in 4th grade, I started playing guitar.
Mhm.
And not that long after, Lucy also picked up the drums. But I was already writing my own music and just
Yeah,
having a ball.
she wanted to start a band with her friends, and she didn't want me in the band originally. But I was like really inspired by what she was doing. I thought it was really cool. And so I just kind of fought my way in, and
Mhm.
there was no other band. Like, she never ended up starting a band with her other friends. Like, it's always just been my sister and I in the band. Like, we've never had anyone else.
Perfect. That's how it'd be. That's fantastic, actually.
That's awesome.
Just kind of weaseled your way into that. You shouldn't have had to, right? You just should have gotten dibs right away. Um, well, with that, I mean, how did that first show feel? Did you get a nice kind of welcoming vibe in the early Sacramento scene? Were you just kind of really nervous? What was that like for you guys?
Yeah. So, when we first, started playing together, our parents, they were like really supportive and stuff. And they had this friend who had been in many bands over the years, but he was much younger than them. But my parents told them about that. We were both playing instruments, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta come over to the house because I gotta get them playing together." And so he came over, and by the end of that night, we were playing Surfing USA by the Beach Boys. And that was really cool. And then after we played that song, we really kind of honed in on our original material, which she had been writing songs, and then I started writing songs right away. So once we had 5 songs, that same family friend, he got us a show opening up for Agent Orange, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So we
I
opened
did
up for
see
Agent
that.
Orange
That's
at this
crazy.
dive bar in Orangevale, California. And we played our 5-song set, and the audience really loved it, and they kept, shouting at us to play more. And so we ended up playing. Did we play the whole thing over again or just a song? We played a song over again because we didn't know any other songs. And they really liked us, and it was a really fun show. But it was crazy because, like I mentioned earlier, it was at a dive bar, and we
were both in elementary school. We're at a bar for the very first time. We're at a show where there's moshing.
Yeah.
And
we
that
were
was
like,
the very
"What the
first
heck?"
time that we were exposed to that. My dad lifted us both on top of a table, and then we just saw people in the crowd in front of us later moshing to Agent Orange set.
Oh my gosh.
I remember thinking
That's
the smell was
awesome.
really bad.
That is amazing.
And that the floor was sticky. But I mean, we were having a ball. It's really funny because my sister and I are we've always been so just down for it, we just wanted to rock. We wanted to play shows. And it's funny because nowadays I see families and kids, and the kids are always fussing about something. But Gwenny and I, we weren't fussing. We were we always wanted to do stuff,
Nice.
Never complained. We started playing rock shows in bars when we were 8 and 10 years old. So
That's incredible.
That is probably the most rockin' thing I think I've ever heard.
110%.
That's a great way to, get into a bar and you're like, oh, I was at a bar at 10. Cool. Awesome. Wow. Doing better than me.
Oh.
Playing in the bar.
Yeah, right. No, well, yeah. But still, I mean, that's some bragging rights right there. All right.
Oh,
I have to travel up to Canada just to, pretend, when I was 18. Oh,
Yeah, no,
that's
that's
funny.
awesome, and that'd be quite the experience. So going back a little bit, I know you mentioned this was your family friend that brought you guys into the recording scene and everything, or like getting you gigs. But was there any point in time that your parents were supportive or unsupportive? Like, did you have to fight to make any noise at home?
They've always been immensely supportive of us.
That's
And growing up, we've done school, sports, and they kind of treated our band like another sport.
mhm.
So while some
Yeah,
kids, their
fair.
parents will drive them out to soccer tournaments, our parents did that, but they also drove us out to rock shows.
And they
Love
let us
that.
set up all of our equipment in the living room. So we just had
Aw,
our stuff constantly set up, and we'd have a family dinner, and then we'd have band practice after.
Nice. That's
that's
awesome.
amazing. And I guess going back to that and everything, was there like a specific album or band that kicked you both into gear that made you want to form your own band? Where did your inspiration come from?
For me, definitely once I heard American Idiot by Green Day, I wanted to pick
Mm,
up the guitar. Previously, I was playing flute in my elementary school band, and I was kind of struggling with that. But
fair.
then I listened to the album and I said, I want to be just like him, Billy Joe.
That's awesome. Flute's a hard instrument.
Yeah, and it's I know my kid has a recorder and he's currently trying to practice with that and it's not going great. My poor ears. But he can sing. He can sing, so we're good there.
That's really cool.
That's funny. It's always the flutes and the recorders, man. Every time I tried, they made me do that too. Did they make you guys do that in school? Is it just a Pacific Northwest thing?
No, I played
No,
clarinet for like 10 years.
They made us
no,
do
they gave us the flute and yeah, and the recorder, right? You got
Like
when to
I,
go
third
home.
grade.
Third grade,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
that
do
was
it
right about
until
it.
sixth.
It was like mine was like a summer homework type of thing. Like
whoa.
learn to play over the summer. Like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that as a kid. Sure. We've talked a lot about the kind of the relationship you guys have as siblings, which is sounds super positive and awesome, and you play really well off each other. It seems. How has that evolved through making music? I feel like somebody that is an only child, it might bring you together closer. And so do you feel like it's brought you guys closer? You have any little squabbles every now and then, like, no, I think the lyric should be blank. No, it's blank.
Yeah, I'd say that my sister and I, we've always been very close and just like good friends. Like you've mentioned that, y'all siblings and you guys maybe like fought and stuff a lot, but we didn't really ever fight very often. Just like little squabbles here and there, but
Sure.
I mean, mainly I guess it would be over lyrics and stuff, if
Yeah,
anything.
makes
But yeah.
sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, and like writing music is very special. It has like this very personal aspect to it, and being able to share
Mhm.
it with each other has
Yeah.
always been really neat.
And also
Nice.
like playing music, like performing it is always such like a cathartic experience. Like
Hmm.
pretty much regardless. Um like regardless of like subject matter of the songs or
Mhm.
whatnot, like which can also be very cathartic as well. But just the actual act of doing it is just always makes you feel good, and especially when you get to do it with um your sibling. It's like an extra
Yeah.
special thing because
Mhm.
we have like this
Energy.
harmonious like energy thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
I can see that.
we're very like synchronized, and um yeah, it's it's rad.
I like it. It's
That is.
beautiful. Well, you kind of answered a little bit of that question. I was going to ask a little bit about the writing. Like, does one of you kind of write, or is it like both? One writes one song, collab. Like, how does that work out when you're getting in your mind palace?
When we were first starting out, we would do a lot of collaborative work, um and then as we got older, um it we kind of like started doing like we each kind of like wrote our own songs, especially like when my sister went away to college and we were both like living in
Mhm.
different places.
Mhm.
But after there were like a handful of songs that we kind of both individually wrote, I kind of was like, like I really like the magic of a song that's really collaborative.
Yeah.
So In my writing, I kind of intentionally leave some stuff blank,
Mhm.
to like show it to Gwenny and then have her kind of like see like what the vibe is. Like, I'll give you a current example.
Mhm.
Off our latest album, there's a song called Last Night, and I wrote most of it, but I really wanted Gwenny to come in and sing the bridge and write the bridge because I just wanted to see like what her perspective of the song was given
Mhm.
my lyrical content and see how far she could push it in the bridge. And so yeah, I showed her the song in band practice and then we kind of like co-wrote the bridge together. We like were bouncing ideas off of each other and then
Mhm.
yeah, I really like the bridge in that song.
Nice.
I think it's cool, especially like the very last note of the bridge is like this kind of like high note where we're harmonizing because I come
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
and like we're harmonizing. So
Yes.
yeah,
Nice. Oh, that's
It's such a good
awesome. That is a great story.
That is.
It's such a good song for sure.
thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Our resident expert, as I said a little earlier, Jen got us into it. So
She
we
did.
defer to her
Yeah.
judgment. And of course, we always like to listen to songs before we have guests on. It seems respectful, of course.
100%.
I feel like we've answered a little bit of this, but maybe a little bit
Mhm.
different. What's your dynamic like on tour? Do you guys fall into specific roles or just kind of wing it as a team?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we definitely kind of have our specific roles when we're on tour.
And titles. So
Mhm.
I'm the tour manager.
I'm
Lucy.
the band captain.
Ooh, okay. I like it. I like it. That is great.
It's really nice when we have a clear idea of what our roles are and the expectations. That way the tour can flow very well without being like, well, who did this? Like, who didn't do this? How come this isn't done? Like, if we like know what roles we have and like what to do, and we kind of like divvy them up, then like it goes really well. Like, so Gwenny is a
Nice.
tour manager, so she will like advance with the venue. She'll have all the
Mhm.
DXO info. She knows what time load-in sound check is. So
Sure,
she
sure.
kind of like is the timekeeper. Like she kind of has to like make the schedule and kind of decide when we're going to leave, the hotel in the morning, start driving
Mhm.
and whatnot. And then as van captain, I'm in charge of all things van related. So I pump the fuel and I log the miles
Nice.
and
Nice.
um, yeah, just anything that has to do with the van, filling up the DEF, the diesel exhaust fluid.
Oh, very important. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
windshield wiper fluid, right?
Yeah.
Gotta get that.
Gotta keep the van nice and clean and running smooth.
I
And
love
then
it.
also when it comes to actual like show operations, we also have different roles. Um,
Mhm.
Winnie is kind of in charge of like the merch
Mhm.
table. She gets that
Mhm.
all set up. Whereas
Nice.
I end up kind of being I kind of manage the gear a little bit more.
The
Okay.
primary point of contact with the sound engineer,
Mhm.
making sure
Gotcha.
everything's communicated.
Yeah. So
Nice. Okay.
I'm talking to the sound engineer, telling him about the amps, telling him about our vocals, telling them what we need in our monitors, and then just making sure that all the equipment is moved off stage when it needs to be. And yeah, we also normally tour with a crew member because we're just
Mhm.
two people, and it's a lot better to travel with a group of three.
That
Two
makes
people.
sense.
And so, yeah, we love touring with our crew member. We have a couple different people that we have like on rotation whenever they can come with us, but it's always
Mhm.
fun having another person with us.
Mhm.
Oh, but I thought of another one of my roles. I am
Mhm.
food coordinator.
Ooh.
So I
Super
decide
important.
where we will be eating.
Find all the good spots.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. You got it, right? Gotta get that
That's
energy.
right. I was gonna say that's an amazing thing to have. I wish I had one of those every day. It's so hard to decide
I know.
sometimes.
I know you're going on
Maybe you
tours.
can be mine and I'll be yours.
I know you're going on tours soon. I know you're stopping in Salt Lake. If you're downtown and you like Mexican food, there's a really good place
Ooh.
called Blue Iguana.
The blue iguana. Okay.
Ooh.
Also
Growing
red.
up, my dad had a red iguana mug.
That is awesome. They do have also red iguana restaurant too. I prefer the Blue Iguana. It's better.
Okay. Is that like a sibling rivalry thing where like someone broke off and opened a different?
They're like, I'm done with you. I'm going to open the blue iguana now. I
Yeah,
actually don't know.
The blue and the
Check
red.
mine out.
because that's a thing in California. There's a famous taco burrito chain called, I think it was originally just called Alberto's. And then like the siblings like broke off and they were like fighting, and then there's like Aldalbertos, and there's like so many different variations of the word like
Oh my
Alberto. It's like
gosh.
insane. Aldanberto.
That is
I mean,
awesome.
how run out eventually, like at some point.
Are there ever moments you lean into the sister duo branding, or do you try to avoid being boxed into it?
I think that it's a really beneficial thing because when people know that we're sisters, it like makes us I don't know, like stronger. Like people think it's cool. Like I think it's cool.
Mhm.
Whenever I hear about a band having siblings in it, I'm always like, hell yeah. I'll like want to go see them because I know that they're going to play awesome. It's like
Nice.
siblings play so well together.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. I mean, just the bouncing things off of each other and like everyone knows what to do. You're like in sync. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just like that when there's certain bands who have been
Mhm.
together for a long time and certain members have been playing together. For example, like Green Day, they've all been playing together since they're really young. And so like they have that too, where it's like a sibling connection.
Mm-hmm.
But siblings have that sibling connection from the get-go.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just really cool. We just like
Nice.
automatically have it.
Yeah,
That's
just click,
awesome.
click.
You're ahead of the
Everything
game.
clicks in. Yeah,
Yeah,
got
no,
ahead
it's
real early.
super duper duper cool that you guys can do that, and like that you mentioned to other bands that like play off of that stuff too, because ones that come to my mind immediately are 30 Seconds to Mars
Mm.
Oh,
between Jared and
mhm,
Shannon.
mhm,
And they've talked about that too, with Shannon just knowing kind of what Jared wants in the drumming sessions.
Yeah.
And Tegan and Sarah I freaking love. Like they're so cute, and
mhm.
watching their story evolve is was incredible. But playing on that, we were wondering too, what strengths do you guys bring to the table that each other doesn't, or how do you guys support each other at most?
Yeah, we definitely work really well as a team because there's certain things that um individually we're like maybe more comfortable doing than like the other,
Mhm.
which is cool. So like for example, my sister, she loves numbers. She's always been like a big math gal, and I didn't really like math that much, and I tend to not really want to do too much math. It's just not really my, but she loves it, and she likes being like organized within spreadsheets and stuff.
Mhm.
And so that's like really helpful.
Yeah, a lot of the behind the scenes with like finances and booking shows and just coordinating. There's a lot of moving parts and information. So I take that on.
Nice. That's more power to you. I think I lost math some time ago. Once we got smartphones.
Well, now you can make the spreadsheet do the math for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
That
true.
is true. That's true. That's really neat. Still can't figure it out, but
I was
I'll
like,
get there
here
one
comes
day.
the spreadsheet.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, right. Well, you shared a little bit earlier about life on the road, how things went, how you kind of started out younger with Agent Orange. You kind of answered that piece already, which is fantastic. So I guess at this point, I know a lot of people have probably have heard of Green Day, maybe, I don't know. So you opened for Green Day and Agent Orange. Can you tell us a little bit about those experiences? You mentioned the bar thing earlier, and but like with Green Day, that had to be like huge. Just a roar of a crowd, and everybody's just hyped up, ready to go.
Yeah, it was definitely incredible, especially because Green Day really influenced us early on and was one of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest reasons why Gwenny wanted to pick up the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like, I remember being super young and watching their like concert documentary that they put out,
bullet in a Bible.
Bullet in a Bible, and just
Oh,
being like amazed at the crowds. They were just so big and like energetic, and it was just so cool. And
mm-hmm.
so when we got the offer, it was just like wow, like this is happening. And I remember the very first show of the tour was in Columbus, Ohio. And this tour was a little bit unique for them because
Mhm.
they hadn't played shows in a handful of years. They took a little
Mm,
break. And so they decided to come back with a like club tour for them, but it was theaters. So
nice.
the shows range from 5,000 to 1,500 cap rooms. And
Wow.
so, yeah, it was just really cool. And yeah, so the first show was in Columbus, Ohio. And before we went on the stage, the crowd was chanting, "Dog party, dog
Aw,
party." And it was
that's
just
so awesome.
really, really cool. And like
Oh
even like
man.
rolling up to the venue earlier that day, I mean, the line was wrapped around the building like and down
Wow.
the street. Like the lines were crazy.
Wow. That's
Yeah, and
amazing.
I think like the biggest takeaway playing with someone so like influential and just awesome is
Mhm.
seeing how they are behind the scenes and like how they like run their camp
Mhm.
because truly you know, surrounding yourself with people that you like and who are like supportive and like believe in you, like that's what's going to get you places. And so with Green Day, their crew was incredible and a lot of their crew members had been with them for like over 25 years. And so I just thought that was
Mhm.
like really admirable and like,
Yeah.
everyone just like loves each other and
Mhm.
One big family.
yeah, it's one big
One big
family
happy
for
family.
sure. But then another really, really cool thing was Gordie and I, we got to open for Jack White last month.
Mhm.
And
Oh
so
wow.
Jack
Yeah.
White was like my big inspiration when I was young. So around the time that she was getting into Green Day, I was really getting into the White Stripes. And
Mhm.
one of
Mhm.
my like big main musical memories as a kid was hearing the White Stripes song My Doorbell, and it like changed
Mm.
my life. I was just like, wow, like this is awesome. And like Meg's drumming is a humongous influence on me. And so getting to open for Jack White also, I mean, those are like our two guys, like Billy
Yeah.
Joe and Jack White. Like so
Can't
it
get
was
any better than that.
yeah, absolutely incredible. And um I think that it's really important to, communicate with these people and let them
Mhm.
know like how much they mean to you, but in like a cool way.
Yeah.
Everyone's a person, everyone's a human,
Sure.
but
Of
there
course.
are certain humans that really impact others. And so,
Mhm.
it was really cool. I got to tell Jack, I was like, you're the reason that like we play music and like it's an honor to play with you. And he was very touched by it. And so
Aw.
yeah, I think that as a whole, from the experience, I've also learned that it's really important just to communicate how much, you know, pe- people mean to you, you know?
Yeah.
Never forget that. And
Absolutely.
even at a small scale, like just through
Sure.
friends,
Yeah.
even. It's a nice reminder, just like always kind of communicate that.
Mhm. Yeah. Keep the positive vibes going around, right?
Yeah.
These two mean a lot. These two mean a lot to me, so I hope you guys know that. Well, I mean, you kind of mentioned it right there, but I suppose aside from that, are there any other big lessons you might have learned from kind of seeing them up close, even if it's something technical or spiritual, metaphorical, etc.?
Yeah, it was pretty funny actually. When I was in middle school, I read a lot of books about the Ramones. And I believe
Hmm.
it was in this one that their manager, like spacing on his name, wrote, but it was called like On the Road with the Ramones. But anyways, there was like a an excerpt in there about how the Dickies got to open up for the Ramones in California. And the Dickies were saying that they just got on stage and like played like as hard and fast as possible and then just like got off the stage because the Ramones were coming. Like that was just like, whoa.
Sure.
And they didn't want to like overstep or anything. It was just like
Mhm.
legendary that they were opening for the Ramones. So I took
Sure.
that same like ethos going into the
Mhm.
Green Day tour. I'm just like, we're gonna get up there, we're just gonna like rock people and then like get off the stage. And I remember like a bit towards the end of that tour, Billy came up to me one day and he's like, you know, you can like talk to the crowd more and like hype them up a little bit more. And I was just like, oh no, like, so I definitely like took his advice
Sure.
and like there's definitely like performing and being on stage, it's
Mhm.
kind of crazy. And there's
Yeah.
so many different avenues you can go. You can either go the direction that like you're not going to say anything or go like to the extreme and you like are saying way too much. And so I guess at the end you have to try to find like the perfect medium. And I feel like we have at this
Mhm.
point. But
Nice.
but
Nice.
definitely communicating with the audience is an important thing to do.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You are opening for someone who's
Mhm.
much larger than you. It is very, very important to like to acknowledge that and recognize it on stage.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, being someone in the audience, I like to be talked to. So, you know, I think anyone does. That's so awesome. I'm just picturing this awesome scene of this ginormous crowd, just like hyped up, ready to go. I mean, the energy just must have felt, you know, intense in a great way, of course. Love it.
We've gotten a couple, but are there any really surreal or funny backstage moments from those tours or any tours that you've been on that you'll never forget?
Yeah. The Green Day tour, like, there's so many insane stories. But I would say my favorite story from the tour is just okay. So, Green Day, touring with Green Day, they're like known for playing pranks. They're like a big prank band.
Mhm.
And so they were kind of playing pranks on us the whole time. They'd like dress up in costumes and they'd like come out during our set, which was like really fun and cute.
Mhm.
But there was one show in particular. We were playing at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, which is
Mhm.
a stunning, beautiful, legendary venue. And
Mhm.
Trey came out and he was dressed up like Pikachu. He was running around and
Oh my goodness.
I play the drums without shoes on. And I normally have my shoes like set next to me. And so
Mhm.
I had my shoes set next to me. And so Trey grabbed my shoes and he started
Mhm.
throwing them and he threw my shoes so that I wouldn't have them. But the only problem with that was that my backstage pass was in my shoe
Uh-oh.
and it went missing, which is a huge security breach.
Yeah.
And so, like,
It's somewhere over there.
their team was pretty upset, and I was really upset because they were upset at me. And then Gwenny was like really trying to help me. She was looking all over for it. And we finally found it.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
had fallen
good.
underneath the stage.
Oh, okay,
Better
okay.
than in the audience or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one. Any story you want to bring up? We actually have tons of tour stories because
Oh, I'm
we've
sure.
been
Yeah.
touring ever since we were 11 and 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
So
lot of stories, and I'm sure.
tons of them, but I don't know. I guess also funny story. Well, with Agent Orange, it was really cool because we actually got to open for them again, like when I think I was like, what, 16? We were like 16 and
Played with
18.
them a couple of times over the years.
Nice.
So it was our
Sure.
very first show, and then a bit further down the line, and then
Oh,
the
yeah, and
most
then
recent was
recent.
just like a couple years
Yeah.
ago.
So it's just always cool just hanging out with Mike. He's a really cool guy.
Nice.
And, you know, yeah, it's just awesome.
Oh, that is so great. All the fun memories. That's
I
beautiful.
feel like a party documentary would go really hard.
I was thinking that. I would agree. I'd be down for that, especially just my mind is still blown about, you know, being like 10, 11, just in a bar, just chilling. It's, you know,
Did they-
totally normal. Oh, man.
Yeah, with the bars, it was funny too because we were so young at first. Then eventually we reached an age where they're like, okay, you can't like come in the bar anymore.
Yeah, like you're
You're
not
a
allowed.
teenager now. You're more of a liability. And then
Sure.
after turning 21, then we were allowed back in.
It was pretty upsetting. Like I've always just wanted to play music so bad, and it's been something like that I just love doing, and alcohol was the reason why I couldn't.
Yeah, there's been some cool tours that we've gotten originally offered, and then they find out that we're not over 21, so they say, oh, actually this won't work with some of the venues, but now we're past that point.
We are past that point, so it feels good. But yeah, that was just like a headache, and I really had like a resentment towards alcohol, and
rightfully so,
because of it. And so yeah,
fair. That is 100% fair. I would be feeling the same way. That's a drag, but hey, you're here now, and that's the important part, right? Gotta keep it positive.
With Jack White.
yeah, beat that.
Did playing on those tours change the way you approach live performing or songwriting?
I would say I would say whenever we get a really cool opportunity at like a higher level like that, it really does kind of like shift perspectives and kind of like give you a new fresh breath of, ideas and inspiration. So after the Jack White show, I was really, really stoked.
Can't
And
even
very
imagine.
inspired.
New dog party and then
And then it's also great how many places music has taken us all over the country as well as all over the world. We were just in Japan in April, which was so cool. We've gone to Europe a couple of times, Canada a few times as well, the US more times than I can count.
Just a handful.
But yeah,
Just a
being
wee
able to
bit.
make lifelong friends too, and like all of those places is really special.
Yeah, and I'd say like for songwriting and live performances, I mean, watching someone who is just, at the top of the game do it, like Green Day, for example, you watch their set and it's impossible not to get inspired, and
Of course.
think about their songwriting, and I mean, they just have hit after hit after hit. And then, with Jack White, very, very different, but also very like intense. And like Jack's a very intense guy. And
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Like it.
So it's just so interesting, seeing that and seeing it executed, especially too, because with the White Stripes, them being a two-piece band, then seeing how he's executing these songs live with a full band and seeing like what he changes and what he does, because he changes so much of his stuff. And like there were a couple songs there was one song that he changed into like a blues standard, like it was like a blues version, and I was like, that is amazing. So just seeing like a real artist at work, and like Jack, he never had a set list ever, and he just calls the shots as the set goes, and every single one of his shows is completely different, and it's just like whatever he's feeling. And so at the show that we played, he actually set his guitar down and he went behind the keyboard player. The keyboard player has like two keyboards, and he went to one of them and he started playing, and like his techs have to like rush over and like move his microphone and like get it ready. Started playing one of my all-time favorite White Stripes songs, and it was really funny because before that show I was just like going through so many different like scenarios in my head. I was like, what if Jack like talks to me and asks like if I want to hear the song, like what would I say? And it was really funny because I was like, I probably would say Apple Blossom, and then he played that night of our show, and that's the song I played. He played on piano. So it's just
That's awesome.
And like talking to his like techs and his crew afterwards, and like them just like really honoring him like as an artist. It's just rad, because Jack White, like, not only do I look up to him like musically, but also artistically and aesthetically, he's just the coolest guy ever. So
Sounds like it.
yeah, he's just such an inspiration, and it's really inspired me, especially because original like really original Dog Party, like really back in the day. It was
Mhm.
very, very White Stripes inspired.
Sure.
Since we've kind of leaned a little here and there direction wise, like, I
Mhm.
got really into the Ramones in middle school. So there's a lot of like Ramones influence. And then,
Nice.
garage rock later on, that
Of
all
course.
kind of tying in, that creates our cool sound. But it's
Yeah.
really playing with Jack really made me think like, oh gosh, like I think we should kind of mix a little bit of like the foundation of the band Dog Party kind of like back into the music.
Nice. Okay.
I
That's I
absolutely
like
love
that.
that.
That's a good way to
Yeah,
describe it.
it really is. Um, I guess moving into the next question, that's a great uh, segue. You
Mhm.
mentioned middle school and that you guys were making music ever since you were kids. How has your creative process changed over time with all of that influence and everything coming into play?
Hmm.
That's a good question. I think that because my sister and I have been writing songs ever since we were so young, it's just a very like natural process that
Mhm.
we go through, which is awesome. And so, um, but that being said, it has changed, a bit here and there. Like I'll kind of go through phases of like my songwriting and like what I tend to do. For me, I'm like kind of always writing like lyrics. I get like lyrical ideas. I like jot them down and write them down. And I've heard, so many other really amazing writers do the same thing. Like for example, Loretta Lynn's one person that apparently she just had like tons of scraps of paper that had like these amazing ideas. And actually, when Jack White was working on a record with her, she apparently like brought in like this bag of scraps of paper that she had written down, and it's like envelopes and stuff. So like that is super inspiring and cool. And then I also heard that when Lucy Dacus writes songs, Lucy Dacus from Boy Genius and also her solo stuff, she has like one note memo in her phone, one continuous note memo, and it has like all these little ideas in there. And I'm like, that's kind of a good idea to keep them organized because I have them like
Yeah.
around. Like I have a lot in my phone, and there's like grocery list, like what things I want. Like, set lists written. There's tons of stuff in my notes. So,
Nice. Organized chaos.
but
Love
then
it.
me also, I'm like a very melodic writer. I think that's just because my first instrument was the drums. And so how would I write a song? I would think of a melody, right? Whereas my
Mhm.
sister, she, learned the guitar first, and so she's very like guitar based in her writing.
Mhm.
And so I also have my voice memo folder. It's full of a
Oh,
lot of weird,
got it.
weird little hums and whatnot. But then, it's coming to a point where you're like, okay, well, I have like all these different scattered ideas. Like, I need to sit down and like iron them out. And that could be like really fun. But
Sure.
I would say my most favorite is when you get like a crazy inspiration for a song where you can like visualize it like and
Mhm.
hear it like inside your head, and you're like, oh my god, and like the lyrics like flow out of you and it's like done. And like one perfect example of that is Operator for me. That song I wrote in like 2 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. And I was super
Wow.
I
That's
was actually
that's
I was giggling
amazing.
part of it. I was like, hee hee. I've written this song.
Yeah, because it's like sometimes the song is just there in your head and you can hear it, and then you have to learn how to play it to match
Yeah.
what is in your head. Whereas, other times you could be playing just like a progression
Mm-hmm.
and meandering along with various melodies, and then that one sounds kind of cool, maybe I'll go with that. But
Yeah, there's times too where, because I mentioned before, I'm very melodic. I do know how to play the guitar and I do write on the guitar, but
Mhm.
there's sometimes where I can't figure out what the chord is because it's like so weird. Like I'm like,
Sure.
oh, like what chord is that? Like I can't figure it out, and so I have to go. I'm like, I'm trying to write this song and I just can't find this chord. And she's like, oh, you could either play this one or this one or this one. And I'm like, oh, okay, that one.
That's awesome.
That's going back to that being on the same wavelength, right?
Mhm.
Love that. Well, I mean, speaking of awesome stuff going on and great writing and whatnot, so your last record was, in my opinion, a pretty strong bite. You're working on something new. Got stuff maybe going on behind the scenes. What's your current vibe? Because you mentioned earlier your vibe's kind of been changing here and there. So if you got something you're working on, what do you think that vibe is like? You don't have to give anything away, of course, but
We've been wanting to release an EP for like the longest time ever. Because
Sure.
we've pretty much just done like albums, and
Mhm.
we haven't really done like any like sort of EPs and stuff. And we have like a handful of songs that are like older that just kind of like never really like fit in with whatever album that we had. But they're like really awesome songs, but they're just a little different. And so we think
Sure.
that an EP would be excellent for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so
And for those, that's been a collection of songs that for years now we've known these are the songs that are going to be on the EP. And so it's crazy, at least for me to think we have like this fully fleshed out idea of some plan. And then there's stuff beyond that too that's like already in the works.
Nice.
right.
That's nice.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. I like it. Well, I'm eager to see what that's going to look like. I've always been quite fond of EPs. I don't know. They're like the sweet spot
Exactly.
from like
They're
just a
weird.
single and an album, just a little sweet spot.
I feel like bands can be a little bit more experimental with an EP also.
Yes. Yes. You can have
So
lots of fun with
I
it.
tend to love EPs because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited for the EP.
Sure.
It's kind of our plan to get in the studio sometime this year.
Hopefully
So.
soon. Good. All right. Well, good. I'm excited for that. That's going to be awesome. It's fun to play around, I'm sure. Just have fun with it and just go nuts. It doesn't have a theme or anything, which I like. I like that. Let's see. Jenn A, I think you had a good question actually to follow that up with.
I was gonna say, talked a little bit about the EP having different sound than what your albums have been. Are there any genres that you'd love to experiment with in future Dark Party releases?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think that the EP actually like kind of goes into a little bit more of like a moodier indie contemporary sound that I
Okay.
think like a lot of our music I would say, and what others have said also, is that we kind of have like a nostalgic vintage kind of
Yeah.
sound to us, whether
Mhm.
it's like a buzzsaw, like punk rock vibe, or kind of more of like a 60s garage slash pop vibe. Um,
Mhm.
but I think that this batch of songs we are currently we've been sitting on, they're a little bit like moodier and like I don't know. I would say like more like indie leaning, modern indie leaning.
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll see about that.
A little sneak preview, but not too much. All right, fair enough.
I guess the big question with all of that and wrapping that together is how do you stay inspired after so many albums and years in the scene?
Yeah, I would say kind of like what I mentioned before with our songwriting. Like we've always been writing and it's such a big part of our life. So because of that, it's always interesting to, let me see, how do I say this? Like songs are kind of like a little like time capsule. It's like it's a view, it's like a lens. It's like how you're viewing things at a certain moment, which I find
Sure.
interesting. So I think that it's really important to capture those moments of time, and I find it interesting. And I feel like a big reason on why we find it interesting is because we have been doing it for so long. So our first album, I was 8 years old when I wrote a lot of those songs, and I recorded it when I was 9.
Wow.
So it's like that's what I was like thinking about then. and it's cool because some of it still holds up. There's some, and
That
I
is so
think it's really really cool, and
sure.
my life has kind of been documented. Our lives have been documented over a period of time.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That
and
is
like
really neat.
sometimes too, I'll kind freak out about the thought of like, what if that's the last song I've ever written? You
Oh
know,
yeah,
like if I
Oh,
can't
for
just
sure.
come up with a song.
I think
But
that after every song I write, I'm like,
when
"It's the best song I ever wrote."
I just had this epiphany though during this conversation is that songs are, like you said, time capsules, but
Yeah.
of a feeling.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Mhm.
it's not like I'm gonna stop having feelings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that makes
I'll
sense.
100%.
have emotions the rest of my life. So with that, songs just flow.
Songs
I
just
like
Beautiful.
it.
I love
It's
it.
kind of reminding me of Inside Out with the little feeling orbs that they collect, like certain memories and stuff. That's the envision I got in my head going on. You're like, this is a yellow one, this is an orange one, or whatever it is. There'd be a lot of orange for me. Anxiety is great. Um,
Your orb, and it will glow.
yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah, the glow. Oh my gosh, that's
um,
cute.
I guess another thing to add to that too is
Sure.
mhm,
um we're also just like such huge music fans, and I'm always
Mhm.
getting into, new slash different music, and
Yeah.
I love listening cross genre. That is always
Mhm.
the most like inspiring thing to do.
Sure.
Um, like for example, I really, really like 50s and 60s country music.
Mhm.
Um, I really, really love the songwriting, and I love the
Mhm.
instrumentation, and I love the vocals and the vocal delivery. It's like
mhm.
every
Mhm.
and the musicianship is absolutely insane. And all of that combined, it's just like wow. And it's interesting being able to relate and draw parallels to certain things.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
sometimes I joke around that like Billy Joe Armstrong, he's like one of the best country singers because he does a lot of
Yeah.
runs in his singing, and that's something that they do so much of in 60s, 50s and 60s country. Like
Sure.
you look at George
Mhm.
Jones, and he's very like operatic, doing runs all over the place.
Yeah.
Extremely characteristic of the genre, and like I would say, Warning as an album, there's so much of that going on, and I'm just like, "Oh, Billy
Gotcha.
Joe, such a great country."
That's
Um,
they're gonna be their next tour. Just get the whole country gig, the acoustic guitars, cowboy hats. Let's go.
and I also am a big fan of, like, exotica, like,
Mhm.
50s, 60s exotica. It's very interesting just to hear. I mean, those are composers that are writing
Mhm.
that type of music, and
Mhm.
seeing the connections between like the Americana and country music of the time to exotica and weird stuff. And
Mhm.
basically it was just like Americans and like Western civilization kind of. It was like their take on what they thought that like exotic music would sound like. And it's very
Right.
interesting. So
Yeah.
lots of good ideas everywhere. And then there's just so many of our peers who are just in
Mhm.
exceptional, amazing bands. And so like they're
Yeah.
constant sources of inspiration. Like for example, like Lizzie Killian with like Teens in Trouble. Like she's
Mhm.
super
Love it.
inspiring. They're such a great band, and we just have so many awesome friends, and like
Yeah.
we have a really fun scene.
I
So
like it. A nice vibe all around. Well, actually, kind of along the sort of lines of that, talking about some of your inspirations. So, as you may or may not be aware, we are a women-owned podcast. So, it's music and women have had an interesting, past and things. So, I would like your take on, how you feel like women carving the space in like punk and like, garage rock, garage, whatever you like to call it. What's been, if you had any, your biggest challenge or perhaps proudest moment, biggest accomplishment?
I would definitely say something that I think of constantly is like I don't want to say this in a way that's like complaining at all, but what I'm trying to
No.
say is if we go through like so many trials and tribulations sometimes just because we're
Mhm.
women in this day and age, like I just always think about the women in the punk scene in like the 70s
Mhm.
and like the 90s and stuff with like Riot Girl and like
Oh
Bikini
yeah.
Kill, and like I always think of like
Mhm.
Kathleen Hanna and like what like she was like really like yelling about. Um, and I'm thinking about how bad it must have been then. I mean, geez Louise, it
Yeah.
must have just been
Yeah.
very, very bad. Because I mean,
Mhm.
for us, here and there, we get like kind of irritated that you know, like venue staff won't like treat us as seriously as like we want them to, or like if one of our crew
Right.
member is like a guy, they'll like go to the guy first and start talking to him like it's his band and it's not. And so
Ooh.
yeah, it's just like it's kind of like minute things here and there for us,
Sure.
but it's still like as a teenager that really kind of bothered me, and it very
Yeah.
like
Of course.
fueled my kind of rage.
Yeah, no, I
Now
think that's
Nothing wrong
fair.
with that.
I'm like thankful and grateful of any and all opportunities that we have in the scene that we exist in, because there's lots of marginalized people out there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so I feel
Yes.
like there's a lot of in a lot of different spaces, like we've been able to excel and achieve when others may maybe not have. So
Exactly.
I try to be fortunate and respectful, but also angry.
Yeah, no, rightfully so. Nothing wrong with that at all. Well, let's actually talk a little bit about that. You guys have been in this for some time now, and started out, you mentioned, in your teens, you getting kind of frustrated, angry. Have you noticed any sort of shift, whether that's positive or negative, from then to now on like the perspective of the overall scene of, music?
Definitely. I think a lot of times in the past you could look at either a show flyer or a festival lineup and it's a
Mhm.
bro fest, a lot of straight white male. Like,
Yeah.
and now there are spaces where they're celebrating those diversity
Yeah.
and giving space for that and celebrating
Yeah,
it.
I think that diversity within um the music industry at a at a large scale is more kind of like expected
Mhm.
nowadays, which is great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely think that that is a very good thing.
Mhm. But even like we played Doll Fest earlier in the year.
This great
So,
Bay Area women ran festival.
mhm.
Nice.
And that was celebrating women and
Mhm.
non-binary and having a space that was like welcoming of all sexuality and gender
Yeah.
orientations.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And music is powerful like that. It brings you together no matter who you are.
It does.
I sometimes kind of forget how blessed we are over here on the, West Coast
Mhm.
side. We got it real good. We really do. I can walk outside and find, 50 different little mini festivals during the summer, but not everyone gets that. So
It's
that's
true.
awesome. I like it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you're not even exaggerating about that. It's my first time out here
No.
in the PNW, and it's a different
Yeah.
world. It's
Oh,
incredible
it
and
is.
so welcoming.
We're all weird little siblings from like Washington to California. We don't know what's going on at any given time, but we love life.
But yeah, so we'll move on to Jenny. Let Jenny ask her next
Yeah, you
question.
had a great question. I think I'm excited to hear this answer. We've had lots
Yeah,
of name drops, so we'll see.
I was gonna say we've had a few name drops, but who are some of your favorite women in music right now? Whether those are rising or legendary women.
Awesome question. I would say, I have been really into Scowl lately.
Mm,
Kat Moss is the singer of Scowl, and she is so cool and so nice. I've gotten to hung out with her a couple times, and she's always just been extremely kind and awesome. And it's really cool because they're from Santa Cruz, Scal is, and so
Nice.
we're like, California bands, and it's just really cool. So that's someone who I've been liking a lot lately. But I mean, like all-time faves, Wanda Jackson has got to be one.
Oh,
She's just
okay, yeah.
cool.
Very nice.
And Loretta Lynn for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Meg White, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that makes sense. I like it. I like
I
it.
think with last year it was very strong. Chapel and
Mhm,
Charlie,
mhm, mhm.
XG
Yeah.
Hype
Mm-hmm.
has been great.
That's
Yeah,
Chapel.
Chapel Brown.
It's so quirky. I just love her whole shtick, for lack of a better term. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's just you're just having a great time up there, and I like that. You're just being yourself unapologetically.
As you can say, she is absolutely unapologetically herself, and it's
Mm-hmm.
incredible to see her work. Her interviews are fantastic. Also,
Oh yeah, it's
watching
a
those,
hoot.
so yeah, she's really cool.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, what's really inspiring about Chapel for
Mhm.
me that I think maybe some people kind of overlook or they don't understand or they just don't know, but it's her performance is
Mhm.
so compelling. She
Mhm.
is one of the best performers that we
Mhm.
have seen in a long time. And like for example, she has a song that's unreleased called "The Subway," and I love that song. I
Mhm.
go on YouTube and I listen to it all the time. But she just played what's that festival called in Spain? She just played that festival like
Mhm.
a couple weekends ago, and she's playing the Subway. She's like crying singing the Subway
Oh.
because like she
Oh.
is like performing like that much. She's like getting in like that zone to where she's
Nice.
like, I mean, she's like choking up and like just seeing her sing like the ending of that song, it's just so powerful. And so
Mhm.
seeing other performers, perform in such a compelling manner, like that is what I think is so cool, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't say I disagree with you there. I can't say I'm a huge Giant fan, but I just really like her as a person. Like I could just listen to her talk like all day long, you know what I mean? And like even if I am not 100% on board with all of the music and that's just my style, but you're so cool. I just want to like hang out with you and get a tea.
It would be cool to be friends with
Yeah,
her.
right? Right?
And then
100%.
really strong influence musically
Mhm.
currently as well as just over the years. I think for both of us has been Shannon Shaw
Oh yeah,
of Shannon and the
amazing.
Clams. She is
Yeah.
so
She's so
talented.
nice
Mhm.
too. And I
Mhm.
think that's another thing is seeing other women in the industry who are just great and they're nice
Mhm.
and they're um you know, I feel like being a woman in the industry for a long time has been really hard. And
Mhm.
sometimes that can make um, people a little bit territorial and
Right.
maybe like not the most friendly. But it's not through any fault of their own. It's because of the industry. It's put them in this
Yeah,
position.
and there wasn't
Mhm.
much
Mhm.
space for women prior. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And so just seeing, some badass ladies who were just the coolest ever, it's just awesome. Shannon Shaw, definitely one of those. And, yeah, also, Dolly Parton,
Oh,
Jet
yes.
too. I feel like, have
Love
you
Dolly.
guys ever thought about how Dolly Parton, I feel like people don't talk about this, but they should. Like Dolly Parton and like Joan Jett, like they could
Mhm.
play like the angel and like the devil on your shoulder.
You know, that's so real. So real.
Absolutely, they could.
Like, no, don't go do it, darling. You don't need to do that. And on your
Joan
other
Jett would
shoulder,
be
just
like,
do
"Do
it.
it.
Go get
You
it.
live once. Go get it."
YOLO. That's
Um,
so funny. I could, yeah, now I'm not going to be able to unpicture that. My
now you're
kid
gonna
gets the
have them
Dolly
on your
Parton
shoulders
books,
every
so
time.
I'm like, what?
Now you're
What
gonna
is it?
actually have them on your shoulders whenever you make
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's going to be the next big decision I make.
I love them.
Oh, yes.
No, those two are icons. I love
Oh,
them.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess just moving forward, to wrap things up a little bit, what advice would you give to younger girls or even those in marginalized communities, like you mentioned, who wanted to start their own bands but might not feel like they belong in the scene themselves?
I would say you just have to do it. Like, you just have to keep carrying on. And if like you
Mhm.
have an idea and you have a vision, do it.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, then you won't do it.
Mhm.
Like, there are so many things that so many ideas I have, you know, and
Mhm.
sometimes I start to doubt myself, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if anyone would like be into that, or, how it would
Mhm.
be perceived, or like, ooh, it might be scary to like reach out to this person. Like, I don't really want to do that, or like,
Mhm.
X, Y, and Z. But it's like, if you don't do that, then like you won't do anything. And so,
Right.
sure, it might be scary, or like it might be hard, and it might be difficult, and like you might feel a little like isolated sometimes, but
Mhm.
it will pay off in the end when you actually do it.
And I think
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
Right.
You're
maybe
never gonna know unless you try.
sense of starting so young is that we didn't have those preconceived notions that we couldn't do
Yeah.
something. Like Lucy didn't
Exactly.
know, she didn't think about the fact that there really weren't a whole lot of women behind the drum kit. She
Mhm.
just thought
That
that she
sounds
wanted to
cool.
play the
I want to do
drums.
that. Yeah.
So if you are having those thoughts, to just, try to push through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It can be
Yeah.
really hard, but like if you want to be an artist and if you want to create, you have to do anything you can to do it, because if
Yeah.
you look in the history books and around you and at all the artists ever, it's the people that kept doing it and couldn't not do it
Mhm.
that are
Yeah.
succeeding.
Yeah. Wow. That makes sense to me.
It is.
I know I'm excited to see how my kids, grow up and all that jazz. And they really like music right now. So like, the world is open to you to do whatever you want. If you
Exactly.
want to, poorly play the recorder again, that's okay. I mean, I'll live through it.
Encourage.
I'll live through it.
En- Encourage and
Don't worry
support.
about
We
me.
love it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, this is just a kind of a fun little question to sort of wrap up. But if you could just put together kind of an all women tour, and you can mix and match. If you want to have Dolly with Joan Jett, full send. So, what would be your fun little tour lineup if you were to have a festival?
Ooh,
Mhm. I know I had to think about this one too.
that's a good question. Well, okay, so I definitely would want like something that Alison Mosshart was a part of
Mhm.
in there. So like
Mhm.
the Kills for sure.
Okay, okay.
But it would also be cool to have like Kate Clover is really an awesome gal and she has a great
Mhm.
group. Um, Shannon and the Clams also.
Mm-hmm.
That would just be
Mhm.
awesome.
I got to see CSS play
Oh
last
yeah.
year.
We loved CSS growing up, which is
Mhm.
hilarious. Like we literally were like children listening to that. Like
They're
we
from
didn't know what any of that
Brazil.
meant.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
um, uh, I just thought of someone and then it escaped me. But yeah, I mean, so like Dolly Parton, she just
Mhm.
like linked up with Motley Crue.
Ooh,
And
okay.
she's like doing
Okay.
some like rock and roll, and like she also just
I'm here
released
for
her
it.
like rock album. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what if like it was Dolly Parton and then it was like Joan Jett? They were like
yeah. Yes.
headliners, and then it was like just other like badass ladies, totally absolutely crushing it.
Throw in Chapel Roan maybe at the
Yeah,
end, so everyone's all emotional.
yeah, for sure.
This is a no holds barred festival, so it's whatever you want it to be. I like it. I like it. Those are some good ones. I don't know. I would want to toss in like Janis Joplin. I don't.
Yeah.
Her energy is just like You know, I may not fully understand, you know, where she's going with things, but that's okay because at the end of it, I'm just like, you go, girl. Like, that's what's up.
I was gonna say Linda Ronstadt because she's really
Ooh.
amazing, but
Mhm.
I know that she can't sing she can't perform anymore.
Right, right.
So that's why I didn't mention her. But if we're talking about people
Oh
who
yeah, anytime. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would pick Heart too because they're local to me and I love Ann and Nancy. So, you know, got a little shout out there for a badass guitarist lady who is just, I love watching her play. You know, she gets so into it. It's cute.
I had to throw in Twin Temple. I saw them last year and just
Yes.
Yeah, I
That's a
haven't
good
seen
one.
it yet,
love
but I
her.
can't wait.
Mhm.
I'm gonna see
It's
him.
an intense show. Fun, but intense. Yeah, no, you were sending us some good pictures from that. I was jealous.
It was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. I would throw in one more, which would be Crypta. I'm a big fan
I was
of
gonna mention Crypta.
Brazilian death metal. Yeah,
I was like thinking when I said
her voice, man.
I was like, yeah, a whole lot of like badass ladies. I like instantly
Mhm.
thought of Crypta. I was like,
It was one of my first. Yeah, I was blown away by that. I'm like, whoa! How are you making that noise? That's crazy. I mean, I'm here for it, but wow, my throat hurts trying that. In the shower, of course. Nobody else knows that. Well, I guess with that, in the essence of time, a huge, huge, massive thanks to you two for hanging out with us, chit chatting, and sharing your awesome introspect and outrospect of life, as it were. Thank you very much for joining us, your energy and just your knowledge and fun memories and things like that is inspiring truly. And everything we kind of love about like punk, raw, riotous, being the rebellious girl out there. Don't let your dreams be dreams. I love it. So all of you listening in right now, please be sure to check out Dog Party's music all over wherever you can stream. Also pretty easy to find all over the socials, which we will have, of course, linked below and or somewhere along where you're listening here. But if you can, go see them live because I think that's going to be your best chance to like fall in love. So until next time, keep your eyeliner sharp and your volume louder. This has been the Macabre Maiden Metalcast. Stay haunted, my friends.